All right, rallied up. We can go ahead and get things kicked off. GM, everybody, welcome. Another episode of Wake and Jake. Me and Jake and Baker are going to go through stuff for the week, stuff to keep an eye out on. But as always, shows rated NFA, not financial advice. Eager to see what we got cooking for the week, man. I know it's a bunch of airdrops, like a lot of airdrops, or like claims, farms coming to conclusion. So excited to see what's up with that, and then also, take a look at macro and all that stuff. So, Jake. GM, brother, how you doing?
GM, yeah. We're still chopping quite a bit here. I'm doing all right. It seems like it's been a little slower. It feels it's kind of like the lull in the market. These last like month or so, month and a half, not a lot really popping off. Like it's been a good time too. As we were talking about already, get some shit done around the house as spring comes through here. So we'll be ready to go once the market starts picking up back up again. But yeah, I'm still feeling good overall in terms of this cycle and that we are in a bull cycle. We have been just like chopping around, but we also haven't, really significantly dumped. We're still quite a bit higher from where we were even just, earlier, like in the beginning of this year in January or so. And especially like the end of last year. So I'm still feeling great. I still think there's a lot of opportunities right now. And we're going to talk about some of those today, hopefully. I think in general, I think right now it's kind of like the time to farm, in my opinion, with there not being so many like, daily plays that you can make. I think it's a good time to kind of just find some good farms that are going to produce, here in the next few months, come to fruition, I guess, in the next few months, that you can kind of just grind a little bit while you learn and, keep your capital, safe-ish, and get some ROI on what you're doing while the market is kind of just bouncing back and forth here in this range. In general, we saw another outflow week of ETFs. I don't really think, it's still just like it's lower volume right now. It's really not impacting the market that much, nearly as much as what it did when they first came out. I think so I've mentioned this person in the past quite a bit, as well as in my field report too, about like Twitter follows. But in my opinion, like Crypto Don Alt I've been following him for years now, and in my opinion, he's been like the most consistently like accurate person, and when it comes to like predicting like longer, little higher time frame trends on both like Bitcoin and ETH. I think he mainly focuses like on Bitcoin because that is really what the market follows. So I really like to look towards him on his. I mean, he's been like an insanely good trader over the years too, and like a lot of this has had many public calls as to where I very much trust his expertise, and so do many people around crypto. But anyway, just wanted to give that background because I shared a tweet just now of his, and this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. It kind of gives us a little bit of, I'd say, direction on like where to think. So the tweet says the range right now. I'll just read it. This range low abuse needs to stop, which is like range low is right now is like 60K to like 62K. We're all watching, no one's doing anything. Anyway, same old reclaim 68K, and I'll assume the bull is back on, lose the range and then reclaim it, and I'll bleed the same. Like this, not for me at least. So a little bit confusing, but in general, what he's saying is, look, if we go from here, like right to 68K, then that's very bullish. And I'll assume that like we're just going to keep rolling, and go another leg up. Whereas if we lose this range, so meaning if we go under 60K again, then he thinks it's likely that we'll probably reclaim it, which means lose 60K. I'd probably go to around like 50K or sorry, not 50K, 58K or so, around that area, and then bounce right back up above 62K and stay there. Then that would also be bullish. And so, that would be another area to look for. I think, and he's mentioned this. He has a YouTube show as well. But a third scenario that he's looking at is if we do lose this range, the next support, as it shows also on this graph in his tweet, would be around like 52K, and that'd be a really good buy area if we did fall that far. But in terms of like what he thinks is going to happen, it's probably like we're going to lose this range low is the most likely, and reclaiming the 68K is the second most likely. Then getting going all the way to 52K is probably like the third most likely. So again, this is like, all right, well, what do I do with this information? It's like you're just giving me like three different scenarios. Like, who knows what's going to happen? I think, like, it doesn't seem super actionable, but I would say it is pretty actionable in that right now it's like still just a waiting period, and kind of just like wait until one of these things happens, and then you can know what to do. And I think in general, all of them are still bullish long term in this scenario. We just kind of wait. Like, look, if we do end up pumping all the way to 68K, we can kind of go more risk on in our bets, and we can expect the bull trend to continue. Whereas we shouldn't like try and front run that, because we could just fall right under this range low, right, and dip for a little bit, and then maybe we bounce back right above, and then we know that's confirmation that the bull cycle continues. So sharing that it seems to be there's some different scenarios that play out, and right now it's kind of just like, let's wait and see what the market decides before doing anything, which isn't like the most fun advice, like just being patient, but that's kind of how I feel. And like also why I said, like, I think right now it's like farming is what my focus is on, because it's like, all right, it's kind of like sit in my hands season, like, and try not to take too many trades, but what we can do is keep those farms going and keep earning those precious points, and hopefully.
Speaking of precious points, real quick, just cut you off 10 seconds till the rally. It's a fantastic spiel. I don't want you to lose out on the rally because of that.
Great. Oh, great. I love that.
Totally appreciate, the perspective, man, and the balance. Like, for those that are like listening in later, this is a red morning, crypto's down, but this just gives us, like you were saying, some direction, something to kind of keep your hand on the pulse and kind of figure out where you're what you're waiting on. So love these charts, man. Love the information. Love the ranges. If you're eating this up like I am, there is also a fantastic field report. I'll hit it a little bit later, but Crypto Market at a Glance from Relic CK. He's dropping charts and ranges like this as well. Periodically, he's done a few of these now, but I always love when he drops those. Give you a little bit more direction and perspective on what to expect. So we'll go through all the field reports later, but I just want to shout that one out too. He's been crushing those.
Yes, sir. Great shot. Relic's killing it on those. Hopefully this rally drops. It always takes it's always delayed by like at least a minute.
Yeah, the rally rug.
Sorry, it's hard for me to continue my thought. I'm just waiting for it. Okay, there it is.
All right. So anyway, hey, 7K, I'll take it. Let's go.
Oh, 7.6K. We got the host boost.
GG's.
Show boost. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, there's also as I was mentioning about Don, he has a show with Crypto Cred on YouTube as well, where he goes in depth. I mean, they're like an hour long at least usually. I think they do like 2 or 3 times a week where they go in depth on macro, and I would highly recommend that if you kind of want to get like even more into the weeds and help you understand kind of like what's going on with the market, and to hopefully predict what's going to happen next. I think their show is really good, and it's not like super. They're not like shilling you like shit coins and shit. It's really just like high level. Like usually like Bitcoin and ETH and some Sol. analysis of when they think is going to happen with the market. So that's pretty good too. But yeah, I think that's all I had on macro stuff.
Beautiful. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate the insight. We'll get into some stuff. I heard on Mix asking you what was the show.
Yeah, let me link it. 1 second. I think it was called. Can't remember what the name was called. I think it's like a technical roundup.
Love me some roundups.
There we go. Just linked it in Voice Hangout.
Beautiful. Yeah, we can get to stuff coming up for this week. Before we do, I just want to ask like some stuff that happened since our last show, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you. Curious if by chance you etched any rune punks, man. Did you catch the wave that lasted for like 24 hours?
I did not. I saw people doing that. It seemed dumb to me from the outsider's perspective, but I mean, I hope it cooked for people who did it. I don't know. Did you do that?
I did. Yeah. It cooked short term. I mean, definitely some money to be made there. It was about, $15-20 to etch it. And I think they got to like a 0.004 or 5 Bitcoin floor. So about $250 ish. Sold the top, so could have been a cook. I didn't sell. I didn't really know what I was doing. I only did 2. I did one wrong. I did like a 3-digit one, but I didn't put 0 at the front. Just silly. But yeah, the whole thing was dumb to me as well, man. I loved the breakdowns. People were like the copy pastas of like just explaining how we got here and just how backwards it is. It's like, yeah, you got shit coins into ordinals into runes, and then now we're putting fucking NFTs on runes. Is just silly, man. It's like a one supply. Yeah, the whole thing was kind of absurd. But sometimes those are the things that cook, man. So you never know. So I didn't want to fade it. I was just like, yeah, it seemed easy enough. Just go, copy paste a picture of a punk and inscribe it. But hopefully people made some money off of it. But yeah, I think it's like dead now. Like I don't think there's much volume. But hey, man, little flash in the pan, little weekend excitement for those that were around.
Well, good. I hope some people did all right with that then. I saw they were doing like other NFTs too, weren't they? Like puppets and shit.
Oh, no, really? See, I've been unplugged since then, so I don't know if it's, I doubt that it's started, a meta or anything like that, of derivatives and shit, but I guess we'll see. I don't know, seems silly.
Yeah, to me, it's just like, who fucking cares? I don't know, like, we're really gonna do this again? Like, these are going to be worth nothing, in my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely should have exited when I saw it was worth 250 real world dollars. I should have been like, hey. But hey, you live and you learn. Maybe they'll make a comeback. Pump my rune punk bags. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to check. I thought that was just a fun little one from over the weekend.
Yeah. Wait, just a quick shout out, Meg. The Saku tap is right now, by the way, for anyone playing Saku. Get your game in.
Good shout. Yeah, hope everybody's doing good on that too, man. What a cook. Just floor based off minting the eggs. Pretty good. I know some people went hard and had big bags, so GG's, congratulations. If you went hard and had the conviction, well played. Hope people crack some legendaries and stuff. I saw some people sharing it in the thread that they did. What a cook.
Yeah, that's going great. Pretty fucking awesome that we got a huge allo as well for MVHQ. I know we talked about it. Can't remember. I think the sale might have been like right as we started Wake and Jake last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were doing the DD for us. Yeah, I remember that.
I think so the eggs were $40. And right now the floor is 1.14 Sol. That's like what Sol at right now? 135, 150. Yeah, so it's about like a 6x or so already. That's just uncommon. Like the worst possible. Yeah, worst possible time.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think like legendary floor is like 8 or 9 Sol or something like that. If you were able to hit one of those, or epics are like 3 or 4. Around there. So and then you're also earning coins every day, which are going to transition to their token as well. So At this hard, so cap it is hard.
Dude, people cooked off this, man. We need to petition and pray that they do like a guild system or something, because we're going to be fucking deep. We're going to be dominating if they let us pull our resources together somehow.
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish honestly on the Saki stuff. It seems like I feel like they're they have like new animations and stuff like pretty regularly, and like they're all very quality stuff. I think the art's very like likable, as long as they can like pull off, having like the game, like new features in the game well. And I think it can go over pretty well, like as long as they don't take too long to ship like battles and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think just from like where we are now, getting in early, probably will do well. I don't know about like how amazing it'll do like long term. I think that remains to be seen on how they ship. It's kind of like a wait and see kind of thing, but from where we got in, last week, and then I still think now is probably like a decent opportunity with these first eggs if you're just playing every day and like hatching your things and collecting the coins. It should do all right.
Nope, no reservations for me, man. Sakamoon to the moon, straight to the moon. And this segment was brought to you by my personal investment in Sakamon Incorporated.
Ross asked, I was farming. I think it's a good transition, I guess, into everything. Let me think about what all I'm farming. So I'm farming Saku, like we just talked about. I got as many eggs as I could on that sale, which was about like 12, I think, because I wasn't on whitelist. I was just from public. I was just spamming the public thing, and then I bought some, about like 6 or so off secondary. I'll probably buy more here in a little bit. I'm hoping prices come down a little bit so I can scoop some more once I have a little bit more liquid. Because they reward you, I guess, like per unique monster that you have. So I kind of want to buy some, once I hatch some eggs and I need to complete my collection or whatever. So that's one that I'm doing. Also, Cambria, I'm still doing that. You got to do. They instituted some changes on Cambria. A lot of blast stuff really is what I'm focusing on. But they introduced some changes where it's like you have to duel at least like you have to do like an ETH duel at least like a couple times a day to like to start earning tomes. Unlike last time, so you kind of have to just like log in and do like a 0.001 ETH duel. And they also are nerfing like if you dual farm with another person, so you kind of have to do it with randos. But if you just do like aggro acts with people, then that's like basically like a 50-50 duel. Anyway, so that's a little in the weeds, but you can go to the Cambria thread or the blast thread if you want more info around that. That's another one. But yeah, I think I'm mainly focusing on blast stuff right now, just because TG is in May, or at least Redacted is in May, which we're all assuming is the TG. So it's coming up, and I still think it's underfarmed for how big it is. I still think like the blast in general, like what it does, the aggregation of giving interest like Lido staked ETH to everything, stable coins as well as ETH and Rat Bitcoin is just such a huge unlock for an L2 to have it natively in ways that, and we talked about this before, and Pac-Man talked about this when he had AMA with us a month or two ago, whenever that was. It just allows like products to build in this like competitive advantage. It like allows a new revenue stream for products that they previously didn't have, which means that they can offer discounts or more competitive rates and such on whatever they do compared to what their competitors on different chains can do. For instance, like no fees, for example, on certain things, because they're just earning interest on their TVL. They just want to run up their TVL and they'll just earn interest on that instead. And then they can just charge users no fees, like on a DEX or on a perp platform, for instance. So it just gives so many big advantages that I just don't see it going away. Even after like the farm in TGA, so I just think like the airdrop itself will be pretty valuable. I'm going to stick with it and try to squeak out the most enticing opportunities. So yeah, again, Cambria is one. District 1 is another one that I'm farming. We've talked about it a bunch on Wick and Jake. I won't go over it too much, but it's also like the SocialFi meta. I think especially once Friend Tech comes out, and that's probably going to be worth a good amount. I think that'll kind of trickle down, and like Trick 1 is like Friend Tech on like steroids, with like more like money games, as they call it, attached to it. So I think that'll do well, and because on a couple different levels. And then what else am I farming? Oh, Pirate Nation, as I've talked about before. They got their like points program going now, so I'm farming that as well. And then new farm that I wanted to talk about actually today, but a little bit more in depth, is IKB, which this might not be for everyone, but it's a blast protocol that you can farm, and it's specifically for daily fantasy sports, which is why I say it might not be for everyone if you're not as into that kind of stuff. But I did want to at least let people know, because I do think there's quite a bit of edge to be had in this farm right now. They got a sizable blast distribution based, even though they like didn't really have that many users. I think they got around like 55k blast gold in the past distribution, and there's really not a lot of people to compete with at the moment. It is starting to grow quite a bit over the last week, but I guess basically just a quick overview is it's daily fantasy sports. So you basically like create lineups. Right now they're just doing NBA for the NBA playoffs. So you create lineups based on the players. They all have like salaries, and you get like a salary cap. If you ever played DraftKings or FanDuel, it's just like that, where you create a lineup of these players, and depending on how well they do, how many like points and rebounds and assists they get, they score a certain amount of points, right? And whoever's lineup scores the most points, wins. And there's like a whole like leaderboard involved with it. So if you're into that, it's like I said, not for everyone, because if you don't really have a deep knowledge of this area, it might be tougher for you to farm. But if you do have some knowledge in that area, you can also like get projections that can just tell you like what the best value are, and basically like tell you what to pick, and how to create a lineup. You can send one in. And the reason I say this is like, I think this is a really good opportunity is because right now I think just in general, how they're going to do it is there's no fees. So it's basically like an even EV to farm it if you are at least like an evenly skilled player, because you're playing against other people in these contests, and so there's no rake or no fees. So the IKB itself is not taking anything, but it's basically even, and then they're also giving out blast gold every single day depending on how well you do in the tournament. So like you do better, you're winning money, real money, because it costs an entry fee, but you're also winning blast gold on top of it. So it's basically plus EV as long as you're just breaking even. It's fun if you're into NBA stuff, because you kind of follow the NBA games and stuff like that. So it would be something I would recommend looking into if you are into daily fantasy sports stuff. You've done it before. I think they said they're gonna start doing NFL as well, NFL best balls as well, which those are a lot longer time frame. It won't pay out for a lot longer, so I don't know if those are going to be as good of an opportunity, but you should do other sports as well. So something to look into, in my opinion. Go to our DFS and Rainmakers thread. We've been talking about it quite a bit. Relic has been fucking killing it. He's been posting bets as well. You can do like pick'ems where you pick if they get lower or higher, a certain amount of points or rebounds or whatever. and Relic is very skilled at that. He basically, I mean, he could talk more about this if he wants, but he basically has like a data set that he looks at, and gives picks based on like their percent chance of hitting. And he's been giving those out as well if you want to just tail those picks basically. But in my opinion, it's a really good opportunity as long as you are like competent enough to play to like break even. Then you're just basically like free farming gold for how much money you're putting into it. So just wanted to point that one out as well.
Damn, nice. That was a lot, dude. That was a lot of farms, man. Ask and you shall receive. I mean, fuck, we could probably talk all day about what we're farming, honestly. Cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I'm farming, and that is the MVHQ app. And if you, dear listeners, are doing the same, then you have 3 missions that you need to go and quickly do because they're going to end today. Suku World ends in 6 hours. Namefi ends today, and Tycho also ends today. Big air horn siren alert to emphasize Tycho mission is ending today, guys. If you haven't already done it, go register now. We're going to have extra allocation for MVHQ. You know, all the trickle through that doesn't register for the individual buckets and the allocation, they're gonna come through to us. So members have an edge here. Definitely go hit up that mission. Hell, I got some other farming stuff too here. Actually, courtesy of Ezrin, we have a pretty baller field report called Blast Gold Farming Daily Strategy. And he outlines a couple farms that he's doing, D1, meme.fun, but also how to source new projects, what he pays attention to, the different channels and you know, vectors of information on how you can catch these new Blast Gold farms early and front run people instead of hearing about them too late. So pretty baller field report from Ezrin. That's, you know, very on topic as far as the farming goes, if you want to get hip to that. A couple more field reports for the week, and then I'll pass it back to Jake here. We had Relic CK dropped the crypto market at a glance. Mentioned that a little bit earlier, but really dope charts and just technical analysis. Love to see those from him. And then also we had 2 field reports from Chelsea. One is Exploring Bitcoin Runes, a beginner's guide. This one is very beginner friendly. It's like a glossary of terms, a lot of links, references to different focused discussions and stuff. I mean, these are very organized, you know, links and citations. It's like a work of art. But yeah, then there's a second field report, Rune Tips and Practical Guides. This one's kind of a mouthful, but UTXO, minting, etching, setting up a node, mempool monitoring, you name it. All the information's in there. These are like really fantastic, just like resources. You'll probably want to like bookmark it or save all this information for later because it's a lot. It's a lot at once, and you'll probably find yourself needing to come back to it. But excellent field reports, 2 from Chelsea, 1 from Ezrin, and 1 from Relic CK. Appreciate all the contributors. You guys make sure to go check those out. Don't miss them. And then hit up those missions. 3 of them today that are ending. And that's actually all the missions that we have live are those 3. So just knock those 3 out and get ready for the week. That's all I got. Jake, I'll kick it back to you, man. Anything else we should be looking out for the week or any more farming stuff you want to hit on?
Oh yeah. I wanted to well, first off, any other Blast stuff? If we haven't got the crowd involved at all yet in this one. So I guess I just wanted to open up in terms of like farms that people are doing right now. If anyone else has any recommendations, or any analysis or any other things to add on the ones I mentioned.
A couple of ones to watch I can add in if you like. There's one called Zap, which got a big allocation of gold but has not distributed any of it yet. They've also not even gone live properly. So the whole concept behind their one is you buy I don't even know what it's called. It's like a vault, and it's called a vault. And then they're launching specific projects. It's a pretty expensive initial at $1,000, but just one to watch, basically. And then some cheaper ones. There's a good one from Wise Daddy put me onto, which is the Sushi Samurai something another, which is a Telegram game that you can just run in the background. that one is early. You just run it in the background. Potentially some gold there. You can spend like $35 and get your character up to level 10, which seems to be the kind of cook point for the sake of $35. Pretty cheap. There's another one which is like a daily game called The Bakery, which again is just like a low lift once a day type thing. I'm going to add some of these into my field report in one of the reserved slots at the bottom for people to take a look at. And the last thing I was going to say is there's big changes in Captain and Company. It's looking like it's going to be a lot less grindy now. They've changed over to... I take it no one spoke about this already? I never actually checked.
No.
We did not hit Captain and Company yet, please.
Okay. It's looking like it's going to be like daily quests now instead of it being like a full-time job, which could appeal to some people. Where the game's been turned off till Wednesday, and it looks like it's going to be a split of doing quests daily plus a bonus for owning assets and a bonus for staking with them. So that might appeal to much more people who have missed it up to this point or don't have the time. We're kind of learning at the moment, and we should know more between now and Wednesday. So if you're considering that one, then it's like top 3 for Blast Gold. It looks like the tides are changing.
Thank you, Ezra. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I love this community. I mean, the man wrote the book on it and then came up here live to tell us about it too. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Dude, good stuff.
I was gonna ask Jake, did you check out that futures platform that someone linked earlier?
Not sure which one it was.
I forget what it was called. It was it looked kind of cool. I'm not too familiar with the platform, or too familiar with futures in general, so I don't really have like a ton of experience, but from just UI UX standpoint, it seemed to be pretty nice. I'll see if I can find it.
Just want to call out how courteous Mr. Jake and Bake is being here by not showing us his referral link and using the appropriate channels because, no one's above the rules. Just love to see it.
What it's for, man. Put in the referral link channel.
No one's going to correct you, but I love that you are, leading by example.
Oh, it's called Blitz Exchange.
Blitz Exchange? I think I've heard that name.
Yeah. I've used Blitz. It's okay. I think the UI is fine. I definitely think Avo is probably my favorite personally, but it's a good perp and they have a ton of gold left. Let me actually quickly tell you guys how much I traded to get 1 gold on there. I think I farmed it for half a day, but that was before they announced how they're going to do distribution, so I didn't love it.
Oh, yeah. Could you explain how they're doing distributions? Remember?
It's pretty much just based on your volume of trading. So, for most of these perp futures, it's just a matter of, are you trading perps? And that's, there's different strategies people have for farming perps. You can farm for volume. You can, actually try to trade for profit, but you could, open up a bunch of positions and just close, pretty much break even or for a loss. But I think I did about, let's say, between $20,000 and $50,000 in volume on there, which might sound like a lot. It's really not for perps. You can do that in one open and close of a position and got 0.9 blast gold from it in the last distribution, and they're still ongoing doing that. So yeah, they have a ton of blast gold that they're giving out. The only issue with perps I've noticed on blast specifically is it is very heavily catered to whales because if you have a smaller bankroll, you could definitely do $1 million in volume if you grinded at it. you probably want to be a little bit more patient, so you're not just like taking a huge L on fees. And then there's whales who can literally just stake like millions of dollars at once, or open up one long for $1 million and then close it, and just do all the volume and get like the top allocations. So it's still lucrative if you're looking to farm, but I would definitely say if you have a smaller wallet, like it's a lot harder competition. It's not like an even playing ground as some stuff like fantasy might be.
Yeah, good shot. I actually did use this one because it was pinged out in non-time sensitive by FSN. I think they gave out, looks like they gave out points to like Pudgies, Bored Apes, Wassies, Memeland, Captain, Suzuki, and then if you used like GMX or Aave or Hyperliquid or those in the past, if you just did like a couple trades, then they gave you like blitz points, which I don't really know what those are worth. But I did that real quick. Like snag those points.
Jake, I was gonna ask.
I think that's done now. I says before, just for anyone who was looking to do that. I think it looks like the claim was before today. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still doing their normal Blast Gold distribution. If you wanted to like farm for Blast Gold on there, but to your point on the coins, sounds like that's closed. But yeah, I was gonna ask Jake if you are willing to talk about it this early on. I mean, maybe not that early on because it's almost May, but do you have any price predictions for Blast Gold in terms of how you're farming it, and just thoughts on like, this is an airdrop that a lot of people are participating in, but it still could be under farmed just given the TVL. I'm just really curious what your experience with other airdrop farming and what we've seen from Blur in the past has you thinking about this one.
Yeah, I haven't really. I haven't been like paying a close eye on the OTC market for Blast Gold stuff. I'm not sure exactly what it's been trading at lately as far as like per gold. I think it was around like $10 or so last time I looked, $5 to $10. So I always look at it as like a conservative amount, like whatever like the low end is, like $5. Hopefully it's more than that, but that's kind of what I'm kind of like at least anticipating in my mind. So hopefully, that's at least what I get out of it. So that's kind of how I look at it. I think, but yeah, sorry, I don't really have a great answer to that because I haven't really done much research into it. But I guess kind of what I'm thinking is, I think in May when it comes out, they'll likely also try and time it. If I know, how Pac-Man does things, I would anticipate him probably timing it in a way that it would be when the market is doing well, which I also anticipate, at least sometime in May. Maybe it's like later in May that the market starts picking up again, relatively soon here. So that would also certainly help. You want to do your airdrop when things are hot. And people are willing to be more risk on and speculate more. Usually leads to higher initial price at TGE and better run up, which is more favorable, obviously, to everyone involved. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating, that he launches it at a favorable time. And so that's right now. I think whatever it is right now, going for OTC, I think it'll be, in my opinion, higher is what I'm anticipating. But also, like, I'm playing it conservatively in terms of like how much I'm putting in to get per gold.
Love it. Ross, did that answer your question? It's going to move on to another one here and see in chat.
Yep. Thanks so much, Jake. I always appreciate it.
Beautiful. Meg is asking if we could talk about Fantasy Top. I know we kind of mentioned it in passing last week. I don't have a whole lot personally to add, but I wanted to kick it over to you, Jake. I did see that they are up to 67 million in assets bridged over. So, or for bridged in for the packs. So that's interesting. Jake, did you have any take there or any additional information from last week?
Yeah, I haven't gotten in on this yet. was meaning to look at it a little bit. The TVL is makes me feel like it's like you have to like put in a bunch in order to really profit from it. And that kind of puts me off a little bit. Just in general, like don't like the product in terms of like what they're doing. It's like based on like how much influencers like engagement they get, like that kind of stuff. It's like Socialify, like on it's like but like engagement I guess on like other platforms. So in general I just like don't really like the product, so I haven't been super interested, but I do think like I'm sure there's gonna be opportunities here because people do like this kind of stuff. It's just really not for me personally. I'd rather look at other things. So I don't have a ton of information here, no, but I know other people in MVHQ have been looking at this and probably farming it. So if anyone else wants to jump in.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat as you. Is a little rich for my blood, so it's kind of in the fade category for me at the moment. But yeah, eager to hear if anybody is bullish or has information and wants to jump up. Hear you out.
I've been playing Fantasy Top. Sorry, I was like half listening to what the question was. But yeah, I mean, they just delayed for Infinity. It was cool when it was free and you can just get packs and, pick people. There wasn't like, you could try to do strategy, but it was really pretty hard to predict. It would just be like, who decides to tweet this day or for this contest. Like if Vitalik drops a thread, he's obviously going to be up there, but otherwise, he's going to be like last. But you can go by like followers or points they had in the last game, but it'd be like really random. You'd have just people pop off that have like very little followers or people that don't do shit that have enormous amounts of followers. So strategy is pretty hard to predict. I was happy to buy packs and spend money on the marketplace when it was all testnet, but now that it's going to be, real money, I'm not really that excited for it. I'll probably get like my free packs, maybe buy one more, try to sell them, just, see how bullish everyone else is. Because I know other people are degen, so I'm sure there'll be people spending money on it. But overall, at least it's something kind of new and a little bit interesting. Now that it's real money, I'm sure that like the influencers are probably going to try to game it a lot more, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't know. It's still kind of too early to tell because none of it's actually live.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that insight. That was very helpful.
Sounds like Meg's been playing it as well. She's saying that she knows a bit about it, but she can't speak right now. I know Meg asked about distribution of gold. I know that they got a huge allocation. Actually, they got the second most alongside District 1 with like 730,000 gold. Which I'm not really sure how they do this gold. I guess they did break it down a little bit on how they do distributions, but it seems like a lot for a product that hadn't launched yet officially. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of gold to vie for at least.
I thought there was something for everybody buying. I had watches on them. Anybody have info on those? Like I saw these whales going crazy over them for blast gold.
Yeah, someone shared that before. I think I saw it last week. I can't remember what the name was though. Some like digital collectibles auction site. Ezrin, do you remember? Was that you shared?
Yeah, the colony.
Colony.
That wasn't the watch one though. The watch one was called something else. But the colony's not actually launched yet. It's similar to Courtyard.io but on Blast. So if anyone's got any collectibles sitting around that they want to send into this vault, I don't know. Like I started sending in some crappy Pokemon slabs. But Yeah, that one's going live, and it's just currently sitting on a wait list. Dankmeth's got the watch one. It's called Kettle. Yeah, thanks, man.
For the K, that's right. Kettle. Yeah, I saw Wales going absolutely nuts for those. Like, over 100 each cent. And they thought they might be overpaying for the watches, but they didn't care because they had the blast gold allocation. I mean, pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, they were just basically throwing watches at each other. Like, one would buy it, sell it to the other one would sell it to the next one would sell it to the next one. It was pretty
Was that what it was? Got it. I thought it was all auctions and they were just buying from the company itself or something.
No, they ended up getting like nearly 200,000 of gold, which was crazy. So I think because it was a bit of a whales game, they kind of all went mental for it.
So I was thinking I'd finally get a cheap Rolex from someone in the crypto community.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to farm. I guess you can kind of. It's nice that there's at least like there's a lot of options, which is like it's hard to pick, but it's also, if you have stuff that you like more and you're more into, it's also helpful in that regard that you can kind of focus on a few that you like the most. And allocate that way.
Yeah, I was more.
Oh, sure. No, please, Jinso, go ahead.
I was going to say, I couldn't speak earlier. We were talking about IKB. One thing to note on that, I think it works with a VPN. Most of these other sites, like DraftKings or whatever else you want to do with DFS, usually is geo-locked and there's not much you can do about it. But IKB, even if you're not from the States and you want to participate, there's things you can do. It's like actually really cool. It's a cool way of getting involved if you like the NBA. So, I mean, if you want to mess around and throw $10-$20 at lineups and you've always wanted to do it, I mean, here's your chance because all you need to do is really just use a VPN.
Love that. Yeah, good shout. I was going to bring up one more farming opportunity. It's not on Blast, though, so I want to make sure we're good on the Blast gold discussion. But it could be interesting. We did an office hours and a mission/partnership with Ordinal Hive. The recording went up this morning. I suggest you guys give that one a look if this sounds interesting. But essentially, it's just Blast, but for Ordinals. Or sorry, Blur, but for Ordinals. Like high frequency volume trading marketplace. The UI looks similar to early Blur, but it's going to be, at least now, it's going to be partnered with Merlin for Bitcoin L2. So it's like low transaction costs and just basically it's just Blur. It's Blur but for Ordinals. If that sounds interesting, I mean, definitely check it out. It's in testnet right now, so they'll send you some testnet Bitcoin and just let you play around on the platform. We have like our own channel in their Discord where you just drop your testnet wallet and they'll seed you with some testnet Bitcoin, and then you can just do some trades and stuff. They're looking for feedback, and they are going to be dropping a collection, a 2.1K supply collection of like lifetime passes for their marketplace, which has a bunch of different perks and stuff. But it's a free mint, and they're whitelisting people that are being helpful during their testnet sort of builder phase. So if you got a kick out of being early to Blur and helping Pac-Man with feedback and then cooking from that, then this could be an opportunity to do something very similar, but for Ordinals. Check out the AMA. The guy that I talked to, he was going fast, man. Dude he was tweaking or something, or he's just really excited, but bro was in it. But he had great answers to everything, and it seemed like he just wants to build something dope. So definitely check that out if you missed it. And just one more farm to throw on your radar. And again, that one's testnet, so no cost to you except some time and elbow grease. Just give some feedback, and you could get rewarded.
Yeah,
Ezra, yeah, I liked him too. Ezra saying listen on half speed. Yeah, it was quick, but I mean we were able to get a lot of information in 1 hour, so it was very nice.
The team seems pretty great. I mean, the guy himself seemed like a pretty seasoned trader. And they had people from, I think like their dad was from like the ETH Foundation and everything.
Yeah, dude is a degen through and through. I mean, right off the bat, we were just talking degen stuff. He said his parents think that he's in grad school right now and he's doing this. Like, we were just like cracking up, man. Like, yeah, cool team. And then they seem to have the vision. It'll just be, can they deliver? Will it catch? But I mean, that's a low cost bet to make if you're just playing around on testnet. We do have the partnership with them as well, so makes it a little easier to get in there and maybe get whitelisted for that Hive pass.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said in that as well that give a token allo, right, for people who did the testnet.
I can't remember. I don't want to confirm. I can't remember if he specifically said that. I do know he emphasized, and I re-emphasized, taking care of the early users and stuff. And we seem to be firmly on the same page. Like he basically just wants to only hook up the people that are actually helping the platform. Like he doesn't want to get farmed. He doesn't want to farm the masses. He just wants good feedback, and he will compensate to the best of their ability with how they roll stuff out. So it indicated that something's going to happen, but I can't remember if he firmly said it.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not sure. I feel like you might have said that, but listen back to confirm. I'm also would like to hear Ross's and Waft Dog's take on Boss Dogs later on the whole platform experience too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying he did it. That's a good call. Actually, let me check.
I think so.
I was gonna say, if anybody wants to go back and listen to that AMA and either confirm or deny and ping me, tag me, I'll bless you for the day and get a little extra credit here. What time is that? God, I got so many. I'm in so many discussions. Thank you. 4:30 Eastern. The Boss Dogs are back at it. Definitely tune into that one. It's been a crazy week for runes and ordinals and all that stuff. They can cover it much better than we ever could.
Not true. Y'all are crushing it. Y'all can always talk about runes. We love all MVHQ content.
Man, I got rune punks that are worthless, and I got some meme pool space that is worthless. So don't listen to me. Oh, and my runestone is being withheld from me. I have yet to get custody from Merlin, so we'll see.
Rip.
Beautiful. Well, anything else for the week, man? Any like airdrops or mints or anything you have an eye on?
Yeah, I think we should touch on. I think we mentioned it briefly, but I want to touch on like Friendtech at least for a second with their TG coming. It was supposed to be today, but it just got delayed. They said because they want to add the ability for creators to share their friend in-app with their shareholders, their distribution. So it looks like it's going to be on Thursday. I can't remember if they said the exact time. So the TG got delayed till Thursday. Pretty hyped airdrop for sure. People are pretty pumped about that. There's been some very big range of price predictions when it comes to the actual friend token. Some very lofty ones for sure. I think it is going to be higher than what you would normally expect out of a token just based on the tokenomics, and that 100% of the supply is going to go to users as they've confirmed, whereas usually there's a very big percentage that goes to investors and the team and things of that nature. So just given that such a bigger amount is going to users, then it probably will end up being a little bit juicier than what you would normally expect for this type of platform in this type of environment. So that's good for anyone who farmed Friendtech back in the day or just has been intermittently. I think it's probably going to be a pretty juicy one. So that's exciting. Absolutely. I think, I guess my take is, in terms, they haven't given out actual tokenomics yet on how it's going to work. All they've really said is the 100% users part. I would expect, if I had to guess, purely guess, but I would suspect only like a smaller fraction of it will end up being available at TG, and they'll probably do some type of unlock, via certain actions you take in whatever the V2 version is, which I also don't know if they've really given much info on. I'm not super big into the Friendtech ecosystem, but I know they're also doing like a V2 Friendtech version as well. If anyone has more info on the V2 stuff, I'd love to hear it. But in my opinion, that's basically how it's going to go. I feel like a lot of these, that's what they do, just to entice you to, obviously, after TG, everyone hopefully, don't want want everyone to just dump and like be done using their app. They want them to use it even more. So it's kind of like the Blur way, the Blast way, where they give you some, right, and then they entice you to keep on farming. And that's, in my opinion, what Friendtech will probably do as well. Where again, like only a fraction, and then they'll probably have like, do certain actions, buy certain keys, do whatever the new stuff is that they add to V2, and that'll probably give you more unlock to look forward to of the friend token. And it'll probably be like more of a gradual unlock type thing. That's just a guess. They don't have the tokenomics out yet, but that's what I would think. And if that does happen, I would say, it depends on the degree of which it happens. It depends on specifics, but I would say probably in general, it might be a decent play on keys right now. If there are going to be people who, you can bet on people, who will stick around and keep farming it. And there'd probably be some good price appreciation on friend type keys if they do go the gradual unlock route. Because I think there's still some people who think they're just going to get like a big old lump sum and dump it and then be done. But it's probably going to be where they entice you to just keep on using the app. Would be the smart business move on Friendtech. So that's just kind of what I would assume that they would do. So in that case, keys could certainly putt from here. I'm personally not playing it. Or at least I'm not playing it yet. Maybe I'll look into doing it. But that's just my kind of high level guess of what's going to happen. If you can kind of bet on some people who will, take place in the farm, it's kind of like looking ahead, trying to predict. But that's obviously like all of what we do in trading is trying to predict things and being ahead of the curve. That's my general Friendtech take. I don't know if anyone has more info on the drop or like V2 or anything, or what they're if they're playing any strategies within Friendtech right now.
Man, I just have my fingers crossed that we will witness the great Friendtech to District 1 rotation. May it make our bags generational. Or Circle Tech. Fuck, man. I mean, hell, if Circle Tech ends up becoming the wave, we have front run by such a large margin. That would be pretty dope. I'm just now getting to it, man. I'm about a week in, but it's been pretty cool. I like Circle Tech. It's not bad. That's another AMA that we had, which you guys can listen to the recording of. But yeah, just at Pay Crypto to ask questions. But MVHQ is a nice little farm going. Just ask each other. We have a union. We all set ourselves to the same price. So you just ask and somebody will ask back. And you earn some points along the way. And you learn a little bit about your MVHQ fam here. But that would be fuck, dude. If that one ends up being the wave, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I still need to get in Circle Tech.
Dude, yeah, hopefully you join the MVHQ union, but if not, man, I think you'd probably be able to put a premium on your advice, man, your sage wisdom. So maybe once it does blow up and the union dismantles, you'll be able to ascend there. But yeah, I would think people would pay you for some advisory services. Mostly it's just silly questions like would you rathers and hypotheticals and shit, or how was your weekend, or what would you learn this week, stuff like that. But the idea for the platform, I think, is there's like experts and people like pay big bread to ask knowledgeable people questions. I could see fitting right in there, man.
All right, let me put it on my list of farms to add here. No, that's actually a good point. I was going to also talk about the beta plays with Friendtech, and if you're familiar with that term, I guess beta is kind of just like the correlated applications that are similar to the whatever the main play is. So like other social fi basically. And I think DGen is probably like the most obvious one, the DGen token with Farcaster, since it's probably like the next biggest social platform, and it's also on base like Friendtech is. I think if Friendtech does do really well, then people are probably gonna try and catch up with some of these other platforms as well, and that could potentially, again, it's like we're trying to predict here, trying to front run the opportunity, right? I think that's the Bankless slogan or whatever, but it's a pretty good slogan. And that could play out here if it becomes the SocialFi meta after this. People will try and chase with these other platforms, and there's a lot of SocialFi popping up. So it can be tougher right now to really figure out which one, if any, do end up popping off. But if we get a pump across the board, I think some decent options are the DGen token from Farcaster, because Farcaster seems to be continuing to do really well. As well as we talked about it a bunch, District 1, they have the OLE token. You're farming not only the OLE token, but you're also farming Blast as well, with District 1 being the second most, getting the second most gold out of anyone on Blast to be able to give out. So that's another big opportunity. We talked about a bunch. We have the District 1 room, and then as Meg mentioned, the fancy top stuff. That's another SocialFi that's coming out that you could farm, as well as you're saying Circle Tech, another one on base, and there's probably a few others that I'm not thinking of as well. But I think if you wanted to try and front run people going to the beta play, if Friend does do well, there's some options in there.
Beautiful. Yeah. Always eyes forward. Always looking for the next thing. I do want to also shout out, Blessed dropped some Ordinal Alpha here in chat. Some discussion going on about it. Narcos on chain. Looks like maybe a low key mint that has some hype to it. Blessed has secured some spots. I mean, the man is a beast, dude. Blessed is everywhere. But keep an eye on that one. Maybe a giveaway from Blessed coming soon. Who knows? Not gonna put words in his mouth, but yeah, looks like one that looks interesting. I like the memes; they're pretty funny.
Yeah, that's all I had on the farm stuff. At least I'm gonna have to. I got Serial Tech on my list now. It seems like a pretty good one to farm. I think that's pretty low capital, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's basically break even. I mean I sent like $10 in just to like start, but like yeah, people ask you questions first. You get the crypto, so then you just answer their question, and then you ask them a question right back, and it's the same price if you're part of the MVHQ union. So we just keep it all cyclical like that, and if you forget, then people give you a little nudge in there. But yeah, same amount of currency changes hands. So you get drained because of the fee, but it's on base. So yeah, you're spending pennies in exchange for points on Circle Tech at the end of the day. Not the transaction fee. There's a fee on it. See if it's a fee. It's a percent. Okay. It's got to be a small percent though. I think we're all set to about $6, and I haven't seen any it hasn't been more than 50 cents that's been taken from me across 30 or so questions. Yeah, 5 to 10%.
fee.
Yeah.
Is there like a focus discussion or something that you guys are running off?
Yes, there is. Yeah. You can just drop your link in there. That's what I did. I just dropped it in and said, hey, I'm just getting started, and the questions started flooding in. So appreciate everyone that is part of the lovely Circle Tech Union. You guys make the farm go round, literally. Yeah, Ross is asking about the percent. So yeah, it looks like, so I guess they raised it potentially. It's a good thing we're keeping our price low, but definitely something to keep your eye on if you're asking strangers. Like I don't recommend asking randos questions because they probably won't ask back. But if you're ever spending more than our union standard of $6, then maybe we should lower it. If they're raising the fees, maybe we should lower our union. That'll be a union talk. Sorry, but yeah, it seems like the fee will be low enough if we're just trading back and forth. If anything, we want to go higher. All right, Scott Coe's running for union president over here. He's got his campaign slogan ready. One more farm. I'm not into this at all, but Stars Arena, I know just relaunched. I think it's a carbon copy of Friend Tech, but on I'm gonna mess this up. I think it's on AVAX. something like that. But it looks like they launched too. So yeah, like you're saying, if we're in friend meta, and everybody's looking for the next thing, Stars Arena is an app that exists. At least throw it out there. All right, Jake, got anything else, or am I going to have to pay through Circle Tech to get answers from you from now on?
Yeah, everything I say is now dated. Yeah,
person. Wild.
We could touch on briefly. I'd like to see if anyone has takes here around the recent pump in ETH NFTs, and also they've retraced decent amount since they did pump. But we saw last week. I guess it's been like a couple weeks now. But there's a big pump. When was this? It was probably like middle low last week. Or so we saw a pretty decent jump. Across the board, really. It started with, I think, Ape stuff. Apes, bottomed at around 10, and then they pumped all the way up to around like 17 and a half or so. Back down to 13 now, though. We'll see if that was just a short-term thing, or if it's going to keep going. And then, kind of same thing or across the board for a lot of stuff. Mutants pumped a bunch as well. I think it got above 3 or so, back down to like 2.5. Zuki's went up as well. Not as much though. I think Pudgy's, a lot of different stuff. Across the board, ETH NFTs saw a nice little bounce from what had been, quite a long bleed action. Retracing again though now, so I'm wondering if anyone has any takes. I honestly don't have any strong takes here. I'm still like not really. I guess my take is I'm still like not super enticed to be like dipping my toes into ETH NFTs right now until we see a little bit more of a sustained strength across the board. But I'm wondering if anyone has any other takes just regarding ETH NFTs and kind of the state of the market there, as we've seen some movement recently.
I would take Jake. I think to be honest, like just the onus in general to own an NFT is way lower than it was a few years ago with the advent of shitcoins. Not the advent, but let's say the popularization, right? Like a lot of being part of owning NFTs previously was to be a part of these communities. And I think what people have found is that you can really quickly become a part of the community and the culture just through owning the coin. And I think, stuff like WIF and MOG, it's really embodied that, where you can see on Twitter that really becomes like a movement and people gather around it. But just the fact that there's no illiquidity or, market drying up issues, you can kind of scale in at any size at any point, take profit, exit out. It's just a lot more appealing now than it was a few years ago to own a shitcoin as opposed to an NFT. And then you have ordinals really capitalizing on just Bitcoin hype in general. So to me, it makes sense that people are going to be focusing on Bitcoin if they were going to be focusing on NFTs, and then on Ethereum, just buying meme coins instead because it's a lot less friction. So I think just from a macro level, that's how I've viewed it.
Yeah, I like that take. I think, I guess my other take would be that I think we've seen a lot where the underlying token of that chain, if that catches a bid, then NFTs start to catch a bid too. I think we've seen this quite often. Honestly, it's a pretty enduring trend. Like we saw it, if you think back to like Kanto, like when Kanto started pumping off, then people started ripping on Kanto NFTs, and then when Solana in this most recent cycle, when it had its big run up, people were started degenerating on different Solana NFTs, and those all saw quite a significant jump. And like even like Stay NFTs started ripping, or like even like Inge NFTs, like for a very small amount of time, started doing well when Inge was pumping. I think ETH and obviously, like Bitcoin's been doing well, and Bitcoin NFTs are new. So I think those make a ton of sense that those are doing well. So, in my opinion, I think NFTs are still gonna do all right. I think we just seen that with ordinals, right? Like the NFTs are doing good. They're just not on ETH; they're on Bitcoin. And I think just with ETH has been like consistently lagging everything else. Basically, like this whole bull cycle. It's almost just like we're waiting for ETH itself to start showing some dominance towards Bitcoin and towards these other coins. And then I think once it does start showing some dominance for a little while, then people are going to want to gamble on basically what are kind of like the perps of it's kind of like a risk on, it's kind of like a leveraged bet, as people say a lot of times. It's kind of like a leverage bet on ETH itself or the underlying asset. NFTs are, right. So you want to be able to like double up your amount of ETH because ETH is pumping, so you want even more ETH. I think it's just kind of like that's what happens with a lot of these NFTs is if there's strength shown in the underlying asset that the NFTs trade on, then that brings along more interest in the NFTs themselves. It's kind of like it comes next sort of thing, and we just haven't seen that strength in ETH like at all yet in this cycle. I think personally, I didn't really talk about this much, but I do think ETH is starting to show some strength. It seems to have at least found a local bottom towards Bitcoin in terms of the ETH BTC ratio. So if that continues and it starts to trend up more and more, I do think that bids can come towards ETH NFTs just because people are going to want to basically take those kind of leverage bets on ETH itself and make even more ETH from their ETH. That's my take. Is you there?
I am. Sorry. Right? Yeah. No, sorry. I was trying to catch up or get back to chat. I had wandered astray. There was a couple other questions. I don't know if you want to hit those before we wrap things up. But Scott was asking about pirates for season 1. Any take there?
Strategy for pirates. Yeah, I'm really just grinding the game. Just making sure I do the gauntlet every single day, the hard and the normal gauntlet, and making sure I'm leveling up all my pirates because I think that's certainly worth. Because I think like every level you get more points for the pirate, and then every gauntlet you do you get points as well. So yeah, I'm basically just like playing the game and leveling my guys. I guess I don't really have any like great strategy, honestly. I'm not putting like a super big amount of time in. I'm just making sure I'm doing the gauntlets. I'm not doing like the social engagement stuff that I know they rolled out recently, just because I don't enjoy spending my time doing that kind of stuff. But the game wise stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, the gauntlet's good. I can't afford the hard mode gauntlet yet. I still need all my gold to level my pirate up, like level 10 or so. But yeah, the gauntlet's great, man. If anybody's familiar with Slay the Spire or like deck building games, like, roguelites, it's very similar to that. So you just take turns, you build a deck and play cards and battle your ships. Pretty easy. Every day you just do the gauntlet, which is like 5 enemies in a row. I think it's 5. And then you get some rewards, some in-game items, some levels, and as you level up, you get new cards and stuff for your deck. So not bad, not a bad little gameplay loop, especially just for the daily knock it out. The gauntlet makes it easy, but yeah, if there's other alpha we should be doing daily outside of the social engagement stuff, I'm all ears as well, because that's about the same that I'm doing. It's just the gauntlet and then a couple missions to open my crates and stuff. Trying to stack this gold, man. I'm broke.
Skyco, I'd be interested to hear if you have any strategy that you're rolling out.
He's not going to share that alpha, man. He probably has a full-time team of people that are rotating all his ships. He's got full crews.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, GM, yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What up?
The one bit of alpha I'd have, if you want to stay on the mostly like free or not spending a lot in game, like Jake, I don't know if you're buying any stuff in game to craft to kind of get ahead. Is the social stuff that they set up, it's actually more lucrative points wise than if you beat hard gauntlet every day, and it's not that time intensive to do it. The one that they have, which is their, like, for better or for worse, their version of like the Portal coin, where you had to tweet. They're doing it in Discord, and right now the only place you can do it is in the main chat, Pirate Nation. So it's kind of like it's not that big a deal. I mean, if you don't mind pasting in some pirate talk from Chat GPT, which you have to do like once or twice a day. But if you compare that to, like, Jake, I don't know, can you beat Hard Gauntlet all the way through to the 5th stage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, about how long does that take you?
I don't know, probably like 20 minutes, but I just do it while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah, so you get 6,000 points a day for 2 or 3 pirate posts in main chat of Pirate Nation, and the 5th battle of Hard Gauntlet is 6K points. So that's your sort of free, if you want to engage with their social stuff, and it points daily. So it does, especially with the multiplier you probably have on your account. You probably got like a 5 or 10x multiplier. That's the free one if anybody wants to do it. If you're playing on like a free to play account, if you're willing to spend a little bit, right now 4 level 3 ships equal the same as a Founder's Pirate, which, like, I saw Grail from Spirit DAO just swept a bunch, and they got up to like 1.1 ETH. You can craft a level 3 ship for about, let's say, like 0.1 ETH or so still, I think, and that gives you 40,000 points for 1 level 3 ship. Founder's Pirate gets you 150,000 at 1.1 ETH. So if you're purely playing this from a points game, you can craft level 3 ships for much cheaper than going out and buying a Founder's Pirate.
Love that, Alpha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Other than the gauntlets, that's the main thing I've been doing is playing the market. Like, there's a lot of volume actually on the marketplace. So I've been playing the marketplace volume a little bit, crafting and selling some ships, and I think I'm up to like 20 level 3 ships or something, just because it's sort of paying for itself to sell off some stuff and then craft them.
Damn.
Beautiful. Shit, I might be coming to you for the last little pieces I need for to upgrade. What I think I have a sloop, and I forget what I need, but I'll scroll back through the chats and see what I'm missing.
Yeah, I'm happy to help you out.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Endless farms this week. A lot of farming talk. SocialFi, L2s, games. A lot of stuff to spend your time doing this week. But I think that's going to do it for us. So appreciate everybody rolling through. And we will we'll catch you next week, same time, 12 Eastern, for a little dose of Wake and Jake. Appreciate you guys.
Sir, thanks, y'all.